that regard. We're preparing for him to play, and we're preparing for him. You know, if that's been our focus. You know, really getting back in transition and doing our best to try to win the paint game and box out and rebound the ball once you miss or once you quit. I mean, he's been pretty much this kind of player his whole career. He guards multiple positions. He can shoot the ball. He can attack the basket. He's just a really good basketball player. He's physical on defense. He gets over screens. I didn't have him as consistently because he had some injury issues in New Orleans. But when he did play, this was the kind of player that we saw. You know, he's not afraid. He's fearless. He's just a big, strong guard. And everywhere he goes, he has, you know, an effect on the team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're just tough. You know, all three of those guys can create their own shots. Lopez in the post, and even when he has the ball away from the basket, he can draw fouls and it's physical. He seems to be diving a lot more than he did earlier in the season. And Drew and Chris, those guys are big-time shot makers. They can create their own shots. The ball's moving a little bit more. And then they're creating extra possessions with their rebounders, Portis and Connaughton and PJ Tucker, along with Lopez, create, you know, more possessions for them. So those three guys have stepped up their play, but I don't think anybody thought they wouldn't.
Has been the key to you guys working together to help Devin develop, whether it's during the season, his work in the off season, just all that stuff?
Yeah, I think, you know, you said it, like when you look around the league, there have been historically situations with the father and son that can, you know, not be so good when it comes to meshing that with an organization. And I think it's Melvin's experience, his personality, the respect he has for the team and coaching, I would imagine, has allowed for him to, you know, continue to work with his son, but also give us space to try to help him as well. And because of what I knew about that relationship, it allowed for me to like not even worry about Book. I knew he was getting the work in because I knew a little bit about Melvin. As I told you, you know, we came up at the same time, and you know, Melvin was a pro, and so he understood a lot of what Book was going to go through, but I think he also understood it from our perspective. And anytime I've had a conversation with him, it's always been about everything but basketball. And so that's pretty cool to not have a parent coming up to you saying, "Hey, you need to do this with my boy," you know, whatever. It's like we've never had that here, and it's a huge benefit to our program. And to be straight with you, it's really helped me with my kids. You know, I have kids who play sports and they're young, but it's, you know, watching and learning from situations like that. Not that my kids would ever be in a position to play pro basketball, but you see how to, you know, bring a kid up in sports and do it the right way. So I think it's impressive. As I said, Book has had the cheat code. You know, not many people have a parent that is willing to do that and willing to do it in a way that's not overbearing. And to be straight, like they have a great relationship. A lot of times that thing splits up. After a few years in the league, it's like, peace, brother, I'm out. And they haven't had that. So that speaks to both of them, their respect for each other, the respect Book has for his dad, but also the character of Melvin.
Our last question is with Barry Bloom from Sports Eco.
Hey, Monty, good to see you again. The two quick questions. Number one, I know you're creating your own history here, but the history of the franchises of the franchise where, you know, these two teams came into the league in 1968 as expansion teams. 53 years later, you're playing each other in the finals. What are your thoughts on that, if you have any? And secondly, the schedule, the way it's laid out towards the Olympics, Do you think Booker's going to play in the Olympics? And have you had any discussion with him about whether or not that's advisable at this point?
Yeah, I didn't know that historical fact or facts about both organizations, but that's pretty cool. I mean, that's all you can say about that. I hope we're the ones that win. That'd be a, historical fact 50 years from now that I hope is in play. As far as the Olympics are concerned, I haven't talked to Book about it. I just know he wants to play. He's looked forward to it for a long time. I don't see why he wouldn't play. Book likes to hoop. That's the thing that we love about him. He loves balling. And, some of us who didn't go, to the armed forces to serve our country, I didn't do ROTC or the National Guard. Like this is a way for you to serve your country and use your gift. So I know he's looking forward to that. And the thing that I've talked to him about was, having done it, I've expressed to him how cool it was and the experience I had. And there's nothing like being in that tournament and having the national anthem played at the end and looking up in the crowd, especially when you're on foreign soil and seeing, an American flag right here and then one over there and then one over there and then 10 over here. When you're in an arena where there's 15 to 18,000 people, but there's like 300 or 400 Americans, that they're cheering for you, and the other 17,000 are trying to wipe you out. It's pretty cool to win in that environment. There's nothing like that feeling. So I've just shared my experiences with him, and hopefully it helps him.
Thank you for the time, Coach.
Thank you.